My skirt. It's torn, the female CEO said. I replied, I won't look, but I need to touch it. The boardroom went silent the moment she spoke. Not the polite silence of executives waiting their turn, but the sharp, uncomfortable kind, where everyone suddenly remembered they had emails to check. She stood at the head of the table, calm as ever, voice steady, eyes forward. The CEO. The woman who never faltered. My skirt, she said quietly. It's torn. I noticed it then, the smallest tear near the seam, cruelly placed, visible only if you knew where to look. And of course, everyone did. In that moment, titles disappeared. Power faded. What remained was a human being caught in a fragile, humiliating situation no leadership training prepares you for. I won't look, I said quickly, standing up. But I need to touch it. A few heads snapped toward me. Someone coughed. Another shifted uncomfortably in their chair. She looked at me, not as a CEO, but as a person deciding whether to trust another person. Then she nodded. That nod changed everything. She was known across the industry as unstoppable. A self-made leader who turned failing companies into global names. In interviews, she was sharp. On stage, fearless. To many, she was untouchable. But that morning, she was just a woman who had stood up too fast, heard fabric give way, and felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. I wasn't a hero. I wasn't brave. I'd grown up with a mother who stitched hems at the kitchen table and taught me one quiet rule: when someone is embarrassed, you protect their dignity first, always. I took off my jacket and held it up like a curtain. Everyone, 5-minute break, I said, without asking permission. No one argued. Authority sometimes sounds like kindness spoken confidently. Behind the jacket, she let out a breath she'd clearly been holding. Thank you, she whispered. Not CEO thank you. Human thank you. I knelt, eyes fixed on the carpet. My hands found the torn seam, careful, professional, distant. I used a small clip from my keychain, the kind you never expect to matter, to secure the fabric temporarily. I promise, I said, this is the least dramatic fix in company history. She laughed. A soft, surprised laugh. The kind that slips out when fear finally loosens its grip. You know, she said quietly, I've fired people for less confidence than you just showed. I smiled, still not looking. I wasn't confident. I just didn't want you to feel alone. That's when everything shifted. The meeting resumed. Numbers were discussed. Decisions were made. On paper, it was just another day. But something invisible had changed. Later that afternoon, she asked me to walk with her. Not to the executive elevator, but outside, into the cold air where titles don't echo as loudly. You didn't treat me like a CEO, she said. You treated me like someone who mattered. I told her the truth. Sometimes the strongest people carry the heaviest embarrassment alone because no one thinks they're allowed to struggle. She stopped walking. My whole life, she said, I've been told strength means never needing help. She looked at me then, really looked at me. And today, she continued, a torn skirt reminded me that strength is letting someone help without turning it into shame. A week later, she changed something small but powerful. At the next all-hands meeting, she shared the story. Not the details, just the feeling. She spoke about vulnerability. About dignity. About how kindness doesn't weaken leadership, it deepens it. People listened differently after that. The culture changed. Just a little. But enough. And me? I never got promoted for it. Never received a plaque or a headline. What I got was better. I learned that compassion doesn't need applause. It only needs timing. Because sometimes, the most meaningful act of kindness isn't loud or heroic. Sometimes, it's simply saying, I won't look. But I'm here.